Hey everybody, welcome to What Culture Gaming. I'm Scott, I'm joined by Josh.
Hello man.
Now,
it's almost E3.
It is almost E3, but all the leaks just keep happening now. I don't think there's that much even left for the conference at this point because every single thing has now just emerged online. The latest shocking development is that Microsoft are planning not one but 3 Gears of War sequels. Gears of War 5 is going to appear in 3 variations, confirmed by Polygon, or at least they'd called it a rumor, but you know they're going to know stuff and they know what's going on and all that kind of thing. So there's 3 variations to Gears of War 5. We're getting Gears of War 5, the main story game with the multiplayer component, as you expect it.
Yep.
The next logical sequel. We're also getting a top-down Halo Wars style tactical thing, RTS thing. And the most surprising one, well, kinda, is a Gears of War Battle Royale. Which and as soon as I read that, I was like, of course, obviously, if you need to get in on the cash hype money train, then this is and they've only got one sort of premier top tier third person shooter.
Yeah,
this makes the most sense, but it also makes me go, oh god.
Yeah,
of course.
Is this not a little bit mental?
Yes.
You've got 3 games, because Scott texted me about this information last night. I was about to go to bed in my delirious state.
You can't sleep.
And then it was like, oh, there are 3 new Gears of War games coming. And, I thought I was having a nightmare at first. I was like, what is going on? And then the next text, oh, it's Battle Royale. Oh, God, this is a nightmare. But I suppose if we dig into it more, it kind of makes sense for what Microsoft has been doing. Like the sort of Halo Wars top-down tactical style game. I don't know. I'm sure there's a subset of fans who really love that style of game.
There is.
Halo Wars.
I'm one of them. Like, I don't love it, but I really like Halo Wars. It obviously never took off because it's a weird left pivot from main Halo canon. But Halo Wars 2 is brilliant. Like, extremely well put together. The story's great. The villain's great. There is like a little contingent of people that have always loved RTS gameplay, whether it was from Command & Conquer or something like XCOM. It's more of like a turn-based thing, but whatever. There is like a little sort of groundswell of people who like it. I would never have pegged Gears of War as the next franchise to do that.
Oh, really? Because it sort of made sense when you told it to me. Like,
really?
It's just like in what the sort of teams you'd be commanding and like the way the gameplay works. It sort of fits with that world, I would say. If you go back in time a little bit and maybe just look at the start, like the Locust War or something.
I guess depending on where it's set, because then you could sort of have the whole, if you do all the base building and you have the whole diametrically opposed factions and the Locusts are holding over here and they're going to send a Brumac out and you send your mech in and...
That sounds a little cool.
Yeah, I mean, maybe...
I think either way, it's sort of, I like that Microsoft are committed to this, like, RTS type of game mode, because, I mean, there are very few big developers who are, like, working on, like, in the console space anyway, there are a few of these games and it's definitely a more niche product. So it's nice to see them pushing ahead with a sort of genre that won't make them millions upon millions of dollars like Battle Royale would.
We might as well pivot and talk about the most shocking / obvious thing, which is Battle Royale. Now, the more you think about it, the more it perhaps starts to make sense. Maybe because Gears of War's third-person shooting is some of the most well-known on the market. And depending on how they design their map, like, obviously it's going to have this huge focus on cover mechanics. That's the thing that Gears of War pioneered. And then you've got all the different weapon balancing stuff. I mean, Gears has had a hell of a reputation with its Nasher shotgun ever since launch, and I imagine that'll continue to dominate online. But you have stuff like the torque bow. You have, there's loads of different ways to attack, like ranged combat and up close. Chainsaw duels. Yeah. Like you could you'll probably come across someone as they're a mid chainsaw duel. You can get in between them and stuff like that. There are elements in here that fit. I mean, nigh on any game can be weirdly punched and kicked into a battle royale mode at this
100%.
point, as we're seeing with Call of Duty. But with Gears, fine, I guess. Like, there's enough there.
I keep going back and forward on this because Gears as multiplayer in general has always been kind of like last man standing focus. It hasn't just been, there are standard deathmatch modes, but it's been very much about like the individual and kind of like helping your team out like as best you can without losing, lives. It's always been, like that sort of like survival style gameplay, which would transfer well into a battle royale mode, but I don't know how well the core shooting or map design would. Because again, like you said, it's very cover-based.
Yeah,
and if you're just hiding around cover for a long time.
I don't know. I mean, obviously they also pioneered in Gears 2 the Horde mode, which I adore, which kind of give you the idea of like trying to defend against waves of people coming in, which I don't know how much that can translate into maybe some sort of innovative take on the Battle Royale thing, where maybe you have AI in there as well. Something that Halo 5 tried to do with its online mode. But the thing that I thought of when you were talking there, because I was thinking of vehicles, even Fortnite's just put a shopping trolley in to get people around a bit more, and Radical Heights tried that, and H1Z1 has it. Is that Gears of War has always had vehicle levels in their past games. The first one had like the tank the tank jeep thing you were driving down the street. Gears of War 4 had bikes. So that tech is in there. Yeah. So if they bring all that together, there might be, because the main thing that I thought was that Gears isn't the most mobile of things. Like the way that you move is very like laden and lumbering, and you feel like you're controlling this big slab of badass meat. And it's like, if you're going to put that in an open world, then you need a way of getting around. But maybe they already have it.
That's a good point. I didn't even remember the motorbike chase in Gears of War 4, which was like the best bit of Gears of War 4. I love that set piece.
Oh,
that was an awesome set piece, right?
Oh, the best bit's old man Marcus with his tomatoes, and then the bit
Of course,
at the
farm.
end.
He ruined his entire farm, man.
Old man Grumpy Marcus is the only Marcus I want to see. Give that man a Kratos God of War style thing.
JD, just push him to the side.
He just needs to be slaughtered at the beginning of the next game.
I don't know about that.
No one wants him.
He's
No one.
right.
Even Marcus doesn't want him, so I didn't talk to him for years. Not to worry though. So the only other component is the continuation of the main story, which the vast majority of people don't care about. I have always been a Gears. Well, they don't. What, are we all following the Locust Queen theories? Queen Mirror? I was.
I mean, no. But come on, right? Come on.
Go on.
People didn't really follow the plot of Gears 1 to 3. I mean, right. This was never Halo. I love Gears 1 to 3, but it was the storytelling was never on the level of like Halo. People weren't, we weren't immersed as much as we were in other games.
This is one hell of a generational divide, and I'll give you 2 words: Dom's death.
Well, yeah.
So no.
Okay, right. I think we're gonna fight over this.
I think we are, but I think the comments can also leap into this because it's one of those things where I grew up alongside Gears, so I absolutely adore it. I don't know if that.
Me too.
But did you not get all invested in the thing?
I got invested in the characters. I didn't get invested in like the overall story. I thought I just kind of like meandered and went wherever I wanted to go. Whereas like the band of like people you were following was great. And like Dom's death is one of the best gaming moments of the last generation and is awesome, which is why I'm excited to see that story continue because they finally brought the old characters back in a big way at the end of Gears 4. Spoilers.
Yeah, they're in for the back half of it when the old squad comes together. I'll totally give you that the world is lacking compared to the characters. Maybe that's what I was focusing on. But I think there's enough characterful pull in there that just that old crew, especially the older and more like angry you make them, is just more lovable. Like give me old Ben and Cole and all that kind of thing. But Gears of War 4 ended with a tease that they were finally going to start explaining the whole crack with Marcus's dad. And Queen Mirror, the fact that she always looked human, because the new character Kat, her grandmother had the brand, which was the old Locust brand. Only like 6 people care about this stuff, but I'm one of them, and we've got you. And it's one of those things where Gears of War 4 pretty much ended on a cliffhanger, but they were like, hey, we've got you. This one dangling thread from the trilogy is finally going to be addressed, and there's a way for them to do that. So.
Exactly. I enjoyed Gears of War 4 more than I expected to, but it was very much like an Act 1, I thought. Like the entire game felt like set up to something else, which was kind of fine, I suppose. It was sort of like a re-establishing the status quo in a way. I thought it ended better than it started.
Yes, and that's the thing. It ended better than it started because JD was very bland. Like he was your Nolan North stand-in guy, and it didn't really land especially well. But in terms of the gameplay, it's very solid, even though they didn't really progress very much stuff. But either way, that stuff doesn't necessarily matter because in terms of what people expect from Gears, it very much delivered.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how Gears lands because Halo's kind of fell to the wayside, and like can Gears of War be that big Xbox franchise that people will buy a console for? Maybe. And if you start tagging it with Battle Royale,
well,
maybe.
In this rumor, is Battle Royale its own game?
Yes, they're all 3 separate things.
So how if you were in charge of Gears?
Yes.
I'm going off the rails here. If you were in charge of Gears, how would you sell a standalone Battle Royale game to people? Would you make? Is it going to be free to play?
I'd make it free.
Free to play. Okay.
Well, they haven't. None of this is. It's outside the 3 machinations of Gears. There's no details.
Yeah.
So, but yes, I think the only way to compete in the Battle Royale field is to make it free. That's the only way H1Z1 caught on, and that's why PUBG just lost 50% of its player base.
Yeah.
Is because people have these other free options to go to. If you want people to try out your game in such a competitive field, it has to be free.
And that would be such a big win as well, because like obviously Xbox have PUBG, but like you said, the player base is dropping off that, and PlayStation have H1Z1, which is free, and everyone has Fortnite, which is also coming to Switch now.
Yes, it is.
So if Microsoft get their own free-to-play Battle Royale game, and it has the Gears branding, that is a major winner.
Exactly, and it's like you have the Gears of War branding, you have that cog symbol, which a lot of people still have tattooed to them. It was that big of a thing, and I never went that far. But whatever, you have all those characters, you have all that sort of world building, all that kind of thing. You can play as the Locust, you can have all the power ups. There's a lot of love in Gears, and it's about time it got mined again because Gears hasn't been on top form in years. So you guys can let us know everything down in the comments. Are you psyched to see new Gears of War, and are you even interested, or what the hell do you think about a Gears of War Battle Royale? I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com.
I've been Josh from WhatCulture.com.
I'll catch you guys soon.
Bye.
Goodbye.